whether you are a Republican or a Democrat, whether you are pro-gun or believe in more gun regulations, the reality is that we all want guns out of the hands of those who would try to murder our children.
Talks on gun control happening now in Texas. The governor, state lawmakers, and education leaders will hear from survivors of the Santa Fe school shooting today. Fast-moving storms hit northern Colorado Tuesday night, leaving behind flooding in some areas, lots of hail. Fort Collins waking up to the worst of it. The city tells us that workers were out clearing the drains to help with street flooding. Marty Caniglio joins us this morning.
All right, Marty, thank you. Texas Governor Greg Abbott will continue talks today about how to stop gun violence. This is now day 2 of 3 scheduled roundtables prompted by last Friday's school shooting in a Houston suburb.
8 students and 2 educators died. Students who survived the shooting are left to grapple with what they saw and heard that day, including taunts from the accused 17-year-old shooter.
Woohoo. He just screamed it, kind of, shouted it, and he came back into my classroom.
Texas lawmakers and state education leaders will hear more from survivors soon. Students are expected to testify in front of the panel today or tomorrow. The state's governor says the next 2 days will focus on gun regulations and mental health solutions.
40 students who survived the shooting have already sent a strong message to leaders in Texas. They took out this full-page ad in Tuesday's Houston Chronicle. They signed a letter saying, quote, "We appreciate your thoughts and prayers, but without policy change, this crisis will not end. We are dying on your watch. What will you do about it?"
While the debate over what to do about the violence continues, the body of Shabika Sheikh is back with her family. She was the Pakistani foreign exchange student killed in the shooting last week. Her body arrived back home in Karachi in the early morning hours today. Her family plans to hold a funeral for her in Pakistan.
We are asking students to come together and send messages of hope and unity in letters to Santa Fe. Email us your students' letters along with a recording of them reading it so we can send it to Texas. The email is mornings@9news.com. Together we can let Texas know we stand with them.
Authorities are on the lookout for the driver who shot another driver in a possible fit of road rage. This happened last night. The victim says he was driving on E470 just after 5 o'clock when he and a pickup driver exited onto Parker Road. He says the other driver pulled a gun out and shot him. This happened right outside of Parker Adventist Hospital, and the victim drove himself to the ER. There were at least 2 people in the shooter's car at the time. Police don't have a detailed description of them, but say they are looking for a newer model extended cab pickup, dark gray or black with dark tinted windows. The victim is expected to survive his injuries.
That is a crazy story. The Denver Police Department is asking for your help as it looks for a new chief. Last night, the department had the first of 5 meetings to hear from the public about what they want from their new police chief. Current chief Robert White will retire after 7 years on the job in Denver. He's going to stay until his replacement is hired. One of the key things people kept bringing up at last night's meeting was transparency.
I'm looking for someone who's not afraid to come out to the community and talk to the community people and share with the community.
I'm looking for a police chief who is ethically pure.
I'm looking for somebody that's confident, somebody that's not afraid to say, you know what, we messed up and this is what we're going to do about it.
Chief White increased security along the 16th Street Mall and Cherry Creek bike path. He also made his officers start wearing body cameras. The next public meeting in the search for a new chief is May 29th at the PPA Event Center, not far from Mile High Stadium. We have a full list of the remaining meetings on 9news.com.
You've heard of the glass ceiling. There could soon be a grass ceiling as the marijuana industry grows and becomes more mainstream. Because the industry is so new, there's not much data on women or other minorities in leadership roles. Massachusetts, like Colorado, is one state with broad legalization. Leaders there say they're planning to do a study looking at license holders by race and gender. They'll also explore possible barriers to getting into the country.
Vice President Mike Pence will deliver an address at the U.S. Coast Guard's commencement today. This will be the Coast Guard Academy's 137th graduation ceremony. The Vice President traditionally addresses graduation classes at one of the Federal Service Academies on a rotating basis. President Trump was there last year. Meanwhile, the Thunderbirds are getting ready for their performance at the Air Force Academy graduation in Colorado Springs today. It's a popular event each year and often the highlight of the ceremony. The Thunderbirds got their practice flight in on Tuesday.
Yeah, actually I flew in the Navy. I flew the F-18, so I love it. Absolutely love it. It never gets old. You watch it over and over again.
Today's performance by the Thunderbirds is scheduled between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, right after the ceremonial hat toss at Academy graduation.
The family who made it through this situation in Loveland is hoping you won't make the same mistakes they did. They were stuck here, but it could have been worse if not for a driver with a pretty sharp eye. 9 News reporter Katie Eastman spoke to the family. Now, so glad they're okay. Well, Loveland Fire Rescue and the Larimer Dive Team were among the groups that rescued the family one by one with a boat. Their advice for everybody else? Be prepared for the trail that you plan to hike, and if you go in the afternoon, be sure to bring warm clothes and flashlights just in case. Can you imagine having 2 little kids?
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, luckily they thought it was a great time.
Yeah.
Right, you have to stay calm because you don't want to freak them out because they don't know any different, right, at that point. But I'm glad everyone's
big
okay.
yellow boat, yay! I know.
Goodness.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break and be right back.
An unlikely friendship has blossomed into a vision for the future, all thanks to just one act of kindness. This little girl is gearing up to become deputy thanks to help from her new best friend.